So today, obviously, we're going to talk about APIs within the education ecosystem. So Tyler, Gavin, and Eli, you all run companies that are obviously all about APIs.
Eli and I have different type of API companies. We, and I want to speak for Eli, of course, but we have functionality APIs. We add functionality to other people's products. We're more akin to something like, say, a Google Maps API that you can see Uber's built on, and Lyft is built on, and Hotels.com is built on, and Bookings.com is built on. And it's the same map, but there's an overlaying layer of functionality on top of that. The benefit for teachers and students and schools and education in general, ultimately we think we can create better products because companies don't have to kind of reinvent that wheel. It's a great leveler. We create better products that have expanded feature sets, and there's kind of more choice for consumers.
I think the advantage for the end users, for the teachers and the students, is that the companies are able to focus and do much better work with many fewer people. We can just focus really hard on making the very best experience for graphing for students and teachers. And it lets a pretty small company, we're a 17-person company, deliver a huge amount of value across a bunch of different applications because we don't have to do everything. And I think that ends up benefiting the people at the end so much.
We'll use APIs so that we can bring systems together to build better products on top of available functionality so that the information can support students better, to support institutions better. So APIs are the way that we help stitch together and make seamless experiences and ultimately solutions for customers.
Nobody's looking for an assessment API. It's just kind of, you have to kind of go out, network, educate, explain what it is, because the default is to build it yourself.
But I think the reason to do it is because of what we've talked about. Unless you really are focused on how systems are going to talk together, how you're going to rapidly expand the functionality that you can bring to education, unless you really focus on what enables that, it's going to take a lot longer.
It's not enough to just build an API. You actually have to help people use your API. Anything you can do to make the API easy and almost like the path of least resistance is one way of taking this thing that can be technically overwhelming or technically just not exciting for some companies, and make it something that by the end of it they are just API champions.
Interested to hear how you think about the kind of build versus buy decision when it comes to APIs.
You're very prescient to bring up the notion of strategic IP. That's kind of where we start. We have a framework for looking at the build, buy, partner decision every time. It starts with, is the functionality we're talking about strategic to Pearson? Is it part of our core mission? Is it part of our core competency? And even if the answer is no, that doesn't mean we're not interested in it. That just means we don't feel like we necessarily need to control it, that we need to own it. Speed to market is a huge piece, and one of the benefits of having a lot of functionality that's out there that's API enabled that we can build on top of is we can get to market quickly.
The word core competency comes up, and it's like, what do we want to own, and what do we want to partner with someone who does this thing really, really well?
It's not just build versus buy. You said build, buy, or partner. And we actually see that often as the core question. Are we going to buy this thing one time, or are we going to partner with a company that's going to support it in an ongoing way? And often that's a decision we run into. The other way that I think costs are often just underestimated for build is not thinking about maintenance. So we will frequently have a company that comes to us 3 years into the 7-year cycle for a product, and they say, Chrome just shipped an update, and now this thing doesn't work, and we can't get in touch with the person who built it. One of the big advantages that you get from working with a company that's super focused is that they are always updating. Any problem that a partner will see, we will see first because of all of the people who use it through our site. We'll see that early and we'll fix it, whereas you maybe can't incorporate that into your projections when you're thinking about what the actual all-in cost is.
Tech debt is always forgotten in these things. Tech debt, hosting, support in an emergency, these things are completely disregarded when it comes to that build or buy decision.
I actually think building APIs is an amazing way to build products. Everything you do is an API, everything needs to communicate through an API. And it had this massive impact on Amazon, and it made every part of it better. Every single product that we add, when we made our scientific calculator, our four-function calculator, our geometry tool, the second thing we build after the product is the API to the product, and we always design with that in mind. And it forces you to build products that can intercommunicate and that do have really nice interfaces and that have clean code. I think even if you're just going to use it internally, APIs are an extremely valuable thing to design around.